All right, you guys, welcome to yet another edition of Hootie and JC Show. We thank all of you for the likes, comments, shares. Send us your questions. We love it. Keep it coming. The momentum's there with us, and we're just killing it. Thanks to you guys, thanks to our fans, and thanks to the great guests that we have. Speaking of which, I'm going to pass this to Hootie so that Hootie can introduce today's great guest.
All right, guys, welcome to the show. This is probably one of our best guests so far. I've been waiting to have him on. We didn't know each other personally in the street, but I know he turned his life around, and what he's doing, we'll get into before the end of the show because he's got so many positive things going. And without further ado, Mr. Larry Mazza, a.k.a. Butch. How you doing, buddy?
Oh, man, I'm great, and I always appreciate that those kind words. That's a great introduction, and I hope I can live up to it.
Don't worry about it. We're just going to let the viewers at home now. Probably the things you haven't wrote in your book yet, you probably forgot about.
Oh, there are some, and, there's also some things that, you don't want to write about while people are still alive. But as people are dying off, I'm able to talk about more and more.
That comes along as the next funeral happens, right?
Yeah. Life part 2.
Yeah, let's hear it.
No, it's just funny that what did you say?
By the way,
that's one of them. There's another one more thing. And you know what else? So, yeah. So we'll have some stories.
Larry, I know that you never went into Zach. You came out, you moved down to Florida. It's public knowledge. It was in the newspapers. I read about it. I would think, I know you said that there's probably guys around that don't really care that you're in the streets and that whatever you did. And I would agree with you on the part that I think that your crew helped win the war. I know, and we're going to get into who told them the strong part that they hit 12, they can win the war. We're going to get into who said that because I have a strong feeling on who said that. But I kind of did when you killed the consigliere and then you killed the other high-ranking member in front of the gate. That your crew and also Scarpa having the FBI on his side. I mean, the Persico family has to look at you and give you and be like, leave Larry alone. I mean, your crew won the war for them. I don't care if they say the Scopo it did. I think your crew won the war for them.
Yeah. Well, I think you're right about that. Without us. Most of them were, I gotta say, most of the guys on our side were hiding out upstate on the land. We were in the trenches, and kept them on their toes or on their heels, whatever you want to say. But realistically, when it came time where I was able to make a deal to save my life, it was about corruption in the government. It saved a lot of guys. That is a major reason I think they'll sort of look the other way. Because I brought out all that corruption and a lot of guys walked out. That being said, there still could be a young idiot that still wants to make a name for himself and work his way up in that life that could, pull a sneak attack. That's probably the only way he'll get me, but, it could happen. I did break a rule. When you talk to the government in any way, shape, or form, you're breaking a rule. But, like I said, I gave up their own corruption. So I can look in the mirror every day.
Absolutely. I say the same thing. I mean, no one got hurt or whatever. I decided to do it my life, and he puts one in the back of my head. There's nothing I can complain about, and he'll probably get 20 years. They wouldn't even really care. And he'll make a name for himself to come home and they'll straighten him out. With Angle couldn't shoot straight crime family. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's true. But yeah, I'm going to tell you something else that goes along with what you're saying. Last 2 years of my 10 years, they sent me to a place called Yazoo, Mississippi. Okay? Anybody that's been in the system knows that's like one of the worst places to go. I don't mean danger-wise. Just it's a horrible place.
It's a shithole. It's like Angola. I know exactly what you're talking about. It's a shithole.
So, anyway, I'm going to call him Buddy, but he's a boss in one of the families today. And he comes in, and we're walking the track together every day. And he's talking to me like we were still in the street. I had to stop him and tell him, buddy, again, that's the name I'm using. You know I didn't go out like a hero. I'm done. I want to get out of here and move on. I really don't care about what's going on in the streets. None of my business anymore. Don't, you know. He stopped. He started. You remember Billy Martin when he used to have a tantrum with the Yankees? He started kicking dirt. He started doing that. He would kick the dirt, spit. He was cursing Greg Scarpa, senior, not the son. Saying that guy ruined good men. You and Jimmy were 110%. Going on and on and on. So we keep walking. We're friends. We stay together every day. Somebody sends something in. Capizzi wrote an article about me. So I think they expected him to orchestrate something or do it himself. He brings me into the bathroom where a lot of meetings take place. For you guys that have been there, know. We go into the men's room. He shows me the article. He rips it up, throws it in the toilet bowl, kicking it. He's so frustrated over what happened to the whole life. And some good men, I don't think, you know, it was destroyed by guys really like Greg and, you know, high-ranking guys. So anyway, I did my time. I was hoping he would get out of life, but he's named as one of the bosses today.
And we won't name that because I know what you're talking about.
No, I would never do it. I wish him the best.
Yeah.
I wish he would have went back, you know, but he did.
Now, Butch. I mean, nobody knows how you got your nickname. I mean, I always knew you in the streets. People spoke of you as Butch. When I first spoke to you, I called you Butch.
Right.
You're Larry Mazza today. But you want to tell the people at home how you got your nickname?
Well, yeah, it's you know, it's nothing crazy. When I was a kid, very young, my sister was only a year older than me, so maybe she was around 2 when I was 1, whatever. And I was still Lawrence, because named after my father, I was Lawrence. And she couldn't say that. It didn't come out good. And I guess one of the TV shows that she watched back then, there was a Butch. So she started calling me Butch. So that's how I got that nickname. And it stood with my friends growing up until I got older and started like meeting girls and things like that. Then I became Larry again, or Larry. So, yeah. So it wasn't a big, but my other nicknames, you know, were funnier. I had the nickname, you know, really in the life of, I had a few of them. I had Skinny Larry, and I had Legitimate Larry. How I got those, early on, when I was starting to make a lot of money in the sports business, Greg had gotten into the credit card, the duplicate credit cards. And they were making a fortune. They were going to dinners with them. And I could never figure it out. I would tell Greg, I'd say, you're making, untold amounts of money every week. Why would you risk a pinch for a $150 dinner? And he told me, the meal tastes better when it's free. That was his mentality. His money was just to pile up. It wasn't to spend. And I wouldn't do it. I says, I'm making thousands, lots of thousands. I mean, some weeks 20s, 15, 10, you know, in the sports business. So why am I going to risk that for a $100 dinner? So they started calling me Legitimate Larry. That name stuck. And even when I got caught, even when I went to court for hearings, they were called, you know, all these nicknames, the Grim Reaper, Mad Dog, the Legitimate Larry. So that was funny. And the other one I got was Skinny Larry, because we have another guy with us, and he's still in the streets, so I won't use his last name, but another Larry that was in our group. And he was under us. He was younger. Started hanging out at my pool room. So when somebody would come in or call up, you know, they wanted to leave an envelope or call up looking for one of the Larrys, they would, you know, nobody knew which one. It was either me or him. And he was like this, round. So he became Fat Larry, and I became Skinny Larry. So it's crazy how nicknames come around, but they stick. They stick. And there's guys in the life I know for 20 years. I don't know their last name. I only know them by their nickname. So
that was me for a long time. That was me for a long time. Nobody knew Anthony was my first name. I was called Hootie half of my adult life.
Yeah, it's true.
That's funny.
I think I made a joke in the book that I says, talking about a guy, that, was like this enemy now of ours that I knew for 20 years. And I said, for all I know, he could have been baptized Fat Patty. I mean, I didn't know his real name. I knew him as Fat Patty. Yeah, you never know.
Well, what a lot of people don't know is your guys during the 90s were on the lam. I mean, you just waking up in the morning, you and Jimmy. I don't know if you want to give Jimmy's last name. I thought you guys had elephant balls because getting in the car with Greg Scarpa every day could have been your last day. He could have turned around and shot one of you guys in the back of the head because that's just the way the guy operated. It didn't make a difference if he loved you, if he didn't love you. It's just how he felt that day. And the rest of these guys that were going, you guys used to call hunting. They used to have a few crews because I know a couple other crews that I won't mention because actually some of them are still on the street and I know them.
Right.
They had crews that went out. None of them were doing half of the work you guys were doing, and they called them hunting crews. And they would go out and look for guys. Now the arena crew was hanging out in social clubs, going to fucking restaurants, spending money, going to nightclubs, hanging out at the Gomada's houses. And you guys were going to the mattresses for real, but you just had no money. You just didn't even have the right weapons to go to war with.
Yeah. No, that's true. That's all true. We had old revolvers. Eventually, we got a shotgun, a rifle. But for the most part, these guys had all high-tech Glocks, 15, 16 shooters, and we had little revolvers. We were also underfunded because Junior was in jail, Alley Boy was in jail, and nobody had money. And, we weren't even getting a break on things that we owed to the family. Like, just put it to rest for now so everybody could survive. But as far as Greg killing one of us, I was worried about getting killed. We wore vests every day because we knew we were the number one target.
Yeah.
But Greg I know he didn't trust anybody like he trusted me. I was his number one guy, not even close. And Jimmy was my best friend. So the three of us together, he had made a comment. He says, the only way they're going to get to us is if they break us three up. He chased the other guys from our crew away. He says, nobody could come around. Because the more people we had, one of those guys could give us up. So we trusted each other, and if he would have hurt one of us, he would have just been killing himself. That's why they tried to kill me, because they wanted me to come to the other side. And that's when Nicky Black sent the message out. Well, I'm sure we'll get to that story later on.
Well, we're going to get to that story because to me that's the turning point of the war. Besides, what my understanding was, a certain whisper on a visit was, kill Joey Scopo and the war's over. A certain whisper on a visit on the floor of a jail, a certain penitentiary, and that's when that squad went out, that hunting crew, and they followed back to Ozone Park, my neighborhood, and they killed him in '94, and they said that's what ended the war. But I think when you say Nicky Black, and that's the story that I would love for you to tell because that's what we know that was your personal hit with outside the car in front of the social club. Because like I said, these guys were walking around like it was okay. And then the person would turn around and not want to give you guys money, and you're fighting a civil war in the streets for them, and they're making garbage bags full of money sent to them.
Yeah. Well, early on, what you said is true. They were pretty much living, and Arena told them to go about their business. They didn't want to appear to be rude. And there's an opinion on whose side is right, but if you go by the rules of Cosa Nostra, we were right. Junior's the boss. Okay? He made Vic the acting boss. Only he can make him an official boss by stepping down. He didn't want to do it. Now, a lot of people have the opinion he should have. That's okay. You can have that opinion. It doesn't mean it's right. They broke the rule trying to kill, first killing Jimmy Angelini, the consigliere.
They killed him.
Yeah, trying to take over the family and coming after Greg. So those were all acts of war. So they started the war. And Vic was trying to be a little macho, probably, for lack of a better word, or show strength by forcing his men to go about their business until they started getting dropped. Then all the clubs were closed. And by the time Nicky Black got hit, we just stumbled into him. What happened was he told my Uncle Albert, who is a dinosaur, was a dinosaur. He passed away at about 93, 94 years old. I don't know if you know him, from Avenue, Albert Maniscalco. He was on
absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, he was on Nick.
He's an old school
and
Colombo guy. He was around. He comes from
Yeah.
the Joe Colombo days.
Yep, Sally D, type of June. The only reason Nicky
Sally
got
D.
the buck before him was because of the Teamsters. Nicky started earning powerful amounts of money, so he elevated, and my uncle got trapped beneath it. But as far as balls or you name it, work that was done, I'll be light years ahead of Nicky. And that's why Junior said he would never let Nicky rise above good fella. He'd never be administrative, never be a captain. And that's why he switched sides. He figured it was his chance. So anyway, he tells my Uncle Albert one day that, and he called me Butchie, he says, if your nephew Butchie don't come over to our side, I'm going to kill him.